Spurs against Luton and Chelsea against Burnley. Let's start at the Lane, Stevie. And after 3 minutes, Luton led. Spurs had so many chances. It looked like it wasn't going to be their day. But once again, the late show and Son Heung-min, getting all 3 points with a deflected effort late on. I don't want to ask you, did they deserve it? They had so many chances. But what type of game was this? And how did Spurs play?
Oh, well, no surprise. I mean, Spurs try and go forward at pace and with numbers. But it was a day when, yes, they did what they normally do as far as that was concerned. But that sharpness and just that final pass to make chances that you were talking about, clear-cut chances, wasn't really there. Goalie made a couple of saves, but in the end, really, they just wore Luton down. The fact that Luton scored so early, Chong with a great strike, meant that they had something to hold on to. I mean, it really was mostly about Spurs. Couldn't break them down in the first half. But for me, the real difference was Brennan Johnson coming on for Kulusevski at half-time. And all of a sudden, going down his side, they kept putting balls across that they couldn't quite finish. And actually, the winning goal that Son scored was a lovely little layoff from Brennan Johnson back into his path. A little deflection, but it was a goal that they probably deserved. And yeah, they deserved to win the game. But for long periods, it looked as though they were struggling to try and break Luton down.
What is it about teams with that mentality? I'm sure you had it at Liverpool. Things might not have been going for you, but you had chance upon chance, just didn't score. But you still have this mentality to keep going and keep going. And Ange Postecoglou had that at Celtic when he was manager there, and he's instilled that at Spurs as well. That kind of, we're never beaten or we're never going to settle for a point until that final whistle goes, because we always think we can get a late goal.
Well, it's about putting your opponent under pressure. You know, some days you're at your best and you win comfortably. Some days you're not at your best, but you're still putting your opponent under pressure, both physically and mentally. And when you're not at your best, you're hoping that either the physical side of the opposition breaks down or the mental side breaks down. And really, that's what it was today. They just physically and mentally put Luton under so much pressure that eventually they couldn't quite get a challenge in at the right time, couldn't quite do the right thing at the right time. And as I said, it broke to Heung-min's Song. They couldn't get a body close enough to block the shot, got something on it, but couldn't stop it going in the net. So, you know, teams like Tottenham who get after you constantly, they just wear you down. And as I said, this is not about Spurs being at their best, certainly not being at the sharpest in the final third. But they put Luton under so much pressure for 90 minutes that eventually they got the reward.
When you were watching this and you saw chance upon chance being missed or hitting the post, rolling along the line, ball looked like it was over, but there was probably a millimetre that said it wasn't over the line. Did you ever get the feeling this was going to be Luton's day and they were going to take something from this game?
Well, I think you automatically think, wow, this doesn't look as though it's their day. But at the same time, having seen Spurs all season, they just keep going at you. They never let up, and you got to congratulate Postecoglou for that. You know, pretty much the same set of players as both Conte and Mourinho had, and look at the complete and utter change and thought process, the way they play, the culture, the whole thing. So, yeah, this was a victory for culture, I would say. They kept going, they kept believing, and in the end, they probably got what they deserved. That's probably the truth.
As a former fullback that loved to get forward, would you love to have played in this Spurs side under Ange Postecoglou?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, there's nothing better than getting in the opposition half and getting a run at your opposition and maybe getting a chance. The truth is, though, unfortunately for Ange, not all of his fullbacks that get forward can defend. You know, the goal they lost right at the very start, Udogie, who is great going forward, made a horrible challenge on Townsend wide, committed himself. Townsend goes past him and then puts it across, which leads to the goal. So, yeah, it's fantastic to get forward. But you got to do your first job as a fullback is to defend. After that stuff's all bonus. So, yeah, it'd be great to play for Ange, but I'd like to think I would defend better than certainly Udogie did on that first goal.
What about Luton? Are they going to stay up?
Well, if teams around them keep getting points deducted, then yeah. Listen, they give everything. They've got a great desire. Barkley's having a great season himself. They do put you under pressure. They're dangerous at set pieces. So I wouldn't have a problem if they stayed up. I'm surprised that they're still in contention to stay up. When you look at the wage bill, you look at the team on paper. But I tell you, what a unit all the way through. The squad, the starting 11, they all play together. They all fight for each other. And they've just got loads and loads of desire.
Couldn't get the job done, though, and couldn't hold on for either 3 points or 1 point. So it keeps them mired in that relegation tussle. For Spurs, it took them up to 4th ahead of Aston Villa kicking off against Wolves.